Well, hello. It's a beautiful day in my neck of the woods. And we're going to talk about the rules of fair fighting. I've mentioned this before. And the rules of fair fighting, these are coming from Nathan Cobb. I went online, and this is stuff that I had talked about in many of my videos. None of the men I were with could do any of this. None of them could have do the rules. None of them. Which is why I'm solo. Number 1, no degrading language. So first of all, let's talk about what fair fighting is. Fair fighting is when you have an agreement to have a discussion in which you're disagreeing. So you're disagreeing about something, and you're like, let's have a discussion. So what I would do is I'd be like, let's talk about what we're talking about. Let's actually focus in on what we're talking about. Let's write it down. And I would write down the issue. Number 1, no degrading language. This is avoid name calling, insults, put downs, or swearing. None of them could do that. I was called all kinds of names. Number 2, no blaming. It's pointless to blame each other. Blaming your spouse distracts you from solving the problem at hand. It invites your spouse to be defensive and escalates the argument. Okay, in my case, you don't blame a person. So rule number 2 never really actually worked. But this is how you can discover it in a conversation, which is not really a conversation. It is a disagreement, also known as fair fighting. It's when the other person uses the you. You do this and you do that and you and you should have. That's what happens. They break number 2 all the time. Number 3, no yelling. All right. People do raise their voices, and if you raise your voice, that is because you are feeling impassioned. You can always take time out, which we're going to get to in rule number 9. But in rule number 3, it is best to talk to your spouse as if you're imagining another person in the room. None of these guys could do that. None of them. Number 4, no use of force. That includes pushing, shoving, grabbing, hitting, punching, slapping. You can read it. Each of us has a right to be safe and free of abuse. Did I experience uses of force? Yes. Every single one of my men. Yes. Because they all had mommy issues. Women, if you meet a man and he didn't have good relationships with his mother, you need to run the other way unless he is actually actively already going to therapy. And if he won't go to therapy because he thinks it's for sissies, get away from him. You need to go to therapy and find out why you actually are attracted to such a toxic man. All right, number 5, no talk of divorce. All right, this is also disguised as, if you're not actually married, when the man says, there's a door, that you can use it. You don't like what's happening. There's the door. You can use it. Just go ahead. When you actually use it, they'll be begging you to come back. Every single one of these guys, except my first marriage, he didn't talk about divorce. He would just shut down completely, stonewall me, not even talk about issues, and then go suck his friend Barry's dick. Number 6, define yourself, not your spouse. So that's, again, back to what I was talking about. Number 2, no blaming. No you. Define yourself, not your spouse. Use words that describe how you feel. In other words, use I feel statements. I tried that. I feel statements. And I said, let me define an I feel statement for you. It is that when you tell me you're going to come home for dinner at 7 and then you don't show up until 9 p.m. and you're drunk, I feel insulted. Stay in the present. Keep your focus. What can be done today to resolve the issue at hand and go forward? All right. Well, the narcissist, that last toxic, bad daddy, the big fat oaf, the sick fuck in Virginia, who couldn't stop effing everybody he could possibly, but now he's too ugly. He's way too ugly. That poor guy, so ugly. And you know what? He might as well be gay because he loved anal sex, and I wouldn't let him have it. But I came back there one time, and all over my white comforter was a brown stain, and I said, "You've been having anal sex, haven't you?" And the guy was such a loser, he didn't even notice it. I had to point it out to him. Anyway, stay in the present, focus on what can be done today to resolve the issue at hand and go forward. None of them could, because narcissists love to be in conflict. They are not interested in resolution. Take turns speaking. That would never happen with a narcissist. Let one person speak at a time. Nope. They all want to speak constantly, always being heard, never listening, ever, ever, ever. And when necessary, use timeouts is rule number 9, which is when I'm feeling really, really heated, I would say to the partner, this is husband number 2, listen, this is getting me boiled up. I need to take a break. I need to step back. I'm going to take a breather. And what would he do? Not let me take a breather. Instead, he would follow me. He'd say, "You're a quitter," and poke me with his finger. "You're a quitter. You're a quitter. You're a quitter." All because I refused to continue using loppers that were dull on a pruning job I was doing in the back, because we needed to get ratcheted and sharper and stronger ones, rather than mangling the tree to death and having it screaming as I was trying to. And I said, I need to get new loppers, and these aren't working for me. And he said, "You're a quitter." And I punched him in the arm. And after he would not let me have a timeout, follow me into the room I was sequestered in, broke in after I had locked it with one of those little pokey hole things that allows you to like open up the door, and the knob has a hole. It's stupid. And as a parent, it allows you to get into your kid's room if they've locked it and something's bad going on. But otherwise, it's permission for a spouse to violate the other spouse. And the other spouse is saying, "No, I need my time to myself. Back away, back away, back away. And I am going to lose it." And he came at me with the words, "You're a quitter. You're just a loser because you can't use these dull pruners to mangle the tree to death. And all you want to do is quit." And I said, "Yeah, I want to quit this marriage." I didn't say that. I said it to myself. He goes, "We're committed, Kathleen. We're committed. That's what we're doing. We're going to commit to each other." And then he said to me, I can't believe this. He just was so happy. He was so excited that I was so upset. And I thought to myself, yeah, I'm committed. I'm committed to an insane asylum to stay married to you. He's the one who I couldn't take a SHIT with because he controlled everything, every move, every thought, never listened to anything, only dressed up to go out with his men friends, wore t-shirts with holes in them when he went out with me, hardly ever went out with me. Whenever he went out with me, he was an asshole to the waiter. I mean, you don't realize how terrible these people are over time. People are like, "Well, how did you get in a relationship with them?" Exactly. So these are the rules of fair fighting, and a narcissist cannot follow any of them. Find your very own rules, print them out, and if your partner cannot follow these rules, when here they are, leave the motherfucker.